Welcome back to Human Training for Dogs, the podcast that's not really about training dogs. It's about training ourselves to live better, lead better, love better, be better. I'm Leon. I'm the founder of Back to Basics Dog Training, and today's episode is something I didn't just learn from dogs. I had to learn the hard way. Welcome to episode 8, Living in the Moment, what my daughter and my dogs taught me about letting go of yesterday and letting go of tomorrow. If you listen to episode 6 and 7, you know been sharing some real personal stuff, guys. How my training philosophies shaped me as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a friend, and how it helped me guide my daughter through some of the darkest moments with anxiety and depression. But there's one lesson that didn't come easy for me personally. And I'm sure many of you out there that are hopefully listening or watching this podcast probably have a hard time too. And that's how to live in the moment. Truly live in the moment. We all say we can do it. It is one of the hardest things, guys, in all my years that I've had to master. When my daughter was struggling, my mind went to overdrive, guys. She was hospitalized. She was self-harming. She had suicidal ideologies. My mind went overdrive because as a parent, my job is to fix everything and to make my daughter not suffer and make her life comfortable. I mean, reality is, as a parent, what's our goal? We want to put our kids in bubble wrap and keep them safe for their whole lives. It's not a reality, but that's how we think and that's how we feel. And what did I do? How was my mind racing? My mind started racing to, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? What if I didn't work as many hours as I worked? And I was working a lot of hours back then. And of course, like everybody else, working a lot of hours, coming home, I had yard work to do, I had household things, chores to do, I had the honey-do list. Well, maybe if I didn't do that and I spent more time with her, she wouldn't be where she is today. Or maybe if I would have just sat down and had conversations with her, instead of worrying about, oh my Lord, I got to trim the hedges or mow my lawn, and sat down and watched TV, she wouldn't be there. And here's the reality of all that, guys. By keeping myself in the past, I actually kept my daughter in the past. Because those conversations, even though they were in my head, affected my energy, affected me being with her when she needed me most, because I was living in the past. Like, I can freaking fix the past. I can't. Nobody can. So once I realized that I was keeping not only myself in the past, my daughter in her past, I shifted. I made the shift. Yay, I got rid of the past. And then I started thinking about a future. What can I do to make her future brighter? How am I going to get her through high school? How am I going to get her to college? How am I going to get her to succeed? And what can I do to take away her pain? And all those questions, even though they came from a place of love, and they did. I love my daughters. I love my kids. But by me keeping in the past, worrying about the future, was creating such a pressure, not only for me, but for my daughter. Because we did have those conversations. Samantha, you got to graduate high school. How are you going to get through this? I don't know what we're going to do. How can I help get you there to that? But I wasn't in the moment with her. I was in her tomorrow. I was in my tomorrow. That wasn't the right place to be. When finally I had an epiphany. And the epiphany didn't come easy. It didn't come by me figuring it out on my own, guys. Like I said in my other episodes, we reached out for professional help. We saw therapists, we saw psychiatrists. She was hospitalized a bunch of times so we could try to get answers. But with all that, I started thinking about my career as a dog trainer. And I realized one of the things I tell all my customers, especially people that rescue dogs that have issues, is stop living in the dog's past. Because when we live in our dog's past, we keep them in their past. And don't worry about the future, because there's no control over our future. So what was my opportunity? It's what I teach people. I was teaching people for years. Live in the moment with your dog. Because living in the moment is where true healing happens. It doesn't happen in the past. It doesn't happen in the future. It happens in the moment. That's where true healing begins. And the dogs were such a vital part of me understanding this, on how I can use what they taught me to help my daughter and my family through some of the darkest times that I never wished on anybody or would ever wish on anybody. So, guys, this is so crucial. Here's the reality of it. When it comes to our dogs, dogs don't hold grudges about yesterday. Dogs don't even worry about yesterday. Yes, if there was a trauma in their past, they're going to remember it, sort of, kind of. And I'm going to give you an example of a dog I had the privilege of working with this weekend, a dog that was terrified of strangers. Nobody knows why, but anybody coming into this house, this dog looked at as a threat. And I think I know why this happened, because it's a cute little dog, and everybody would see it. It would be barking. It would be saying, I'm not comfortable with you coming into this house. And because it was a small dog, people still approached it, try to make them this dog's BFF. But meanwhile, the dog was communicating and saying, hey guys, listen, I'm not comfortable with you. Don't come near me. But we still did. And here's the reality of it when it comes to the dog world. Because it was a small dog, people tend to do that. If it was an 80-pound dog, people wouldn't do what they did to this dog. But they didn't realize by doing that, you're reinforcing this insecurity. So when I walked in the house, dog went Tasmanian devil. Well, if I would have approached it, it would have been scared. It probably would have tried to bite me. Maybe, maybe not. Don't know, because I don't know the future. So what I asked is, I just handed the owner a leash. I said, put the leash on the dog, give me the leash. And what I did is, I didn't force the dog to come with me. I just held the leash and guided it to unlock its brain a little bit, which is fine. We sat down, we're talking. And as we're talking, everybody started focusing on the moment with me. The humans I'm talking about. And slowly but surely, and I'm going to say probably within about 10 minutes, the dog came over to me, sniffing me, licking my hand, and asking me to pet it. And the owners were flabbergasted. They were like, oh my God, this never happens. And I said, because this is the first time since all this behavior started showing, you guys started living in the moment and not thinking of the future, of the what if he bites me. They lived in the moment with me because they were focused on me, not focused on their dog. Now, I'm not saying this dog is cured. There's a lot of work because we got to rewire its brain for a lot of this trauma. But what I realized, and they realized, and this is something I learned through our dogs and helping my daughter, is that if we focus on the yesterday, we can't get to the tomorrow. But if we focus on the tomorrow, we can't be in the moment. So what the animals taught me and what I put into practice, and when I say practice, it's not trying to do it, it's doing it, and really put this into my life, into my everyday life, that's when everything started to change. When I started living in the moment, not only with the dogs, but in my family, we started noticing changes. So when I say live in the moment, guys, it's not ignoring what happened. It's not about putting our head in the sand. It's about being there to help, not fix. Because when you try to fix it, you don't fix it. You need there to be, especially when you're dealing with other people, the same way when I'm dealing with the dogs. I can't fix the problems but I can help fix the problems. I can help guide them to a better way of doing it, better way of thinking, a better way of reacting, whatever it may be. So by being fully present with my daughter when she needed me, instead of living in the guilt of the past, things started changing. With the dog I worked with this weekend, when we all started living in the moment and not in the past, the dog started changing. And it was beautiful to witness. One of the things I tell people to do by living in the moment, that's finding small moments of peace. Sit down with your loved one. Just be there. Watch TV, whatever. Sit on the couch, both of you on your iPads or whatever. Not necessarily about talking, not about anything. Taking slow walks. Having a conversation. But the key is when you're sitting there quietly together, taking a slow walk, being on the iPad, or me with this dog that I worked with this weekend on the end of the leash. It's not a fix-it session. It's being in the moment. My daughter appreciated it. That dog I worked with this weekend appreciated it. When we learn to live in the moment and not try to fix everything, things change. So by letting go of the illusion that I can control my daughter's future, instead of focusing on controlling my energy to fixing things, like I did this weekend with the dog. I didn't force the dog to come to me. That's an easy fix. It's a Band-Aid on a major surgery, but it's not a fix. I let the dog figure it out. The same way, being there with my daughter, not trying to control the situation, just being there in the situation, and focusing my energy in the moment, help her learn to live in the moment. Because if you think about what this dog was going through, what people go through, when people suffer with anxiety, they realize that they're not the same as you or me. And they start beating themselves up. Why am I this way? Why do I let this bother me? Why? Take it to this dog that I worked with who had a brother and a sister dog. So there was a pack of 3. Those other 2 dogs came over to me and I was their best friend. They wanted me to be their best friend. They greeted me and, oh my God, you're here. Thank you for coming. If you humanize what this puppy was going through, if you think about it, well, they like him, but I can't get myself to like him. And it's a vicious cycle. The why is the dopiest question we could ever ask. So here's the beauty of all this. I know I rant and I rave because this is passionate. It's a passion of mine. Here's the beauty of it. When I learned to be present, my daughter started feeling safe. She started learning to be present too, not worried about what was wrong with her. Because in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with her. This is how her mind works. This is who she is. This has made her into the person she is today. We just need to guide her through some rough edges. We become carpenters and we kind of sand off the rough edges, and that's okay. The beauty of this, guys, that's what the dogs do for us, and we don't see it. Dogs live in the moment. They want to please us. They want to eat. They want to go outside. They want to smell things. They want to pee. They want to poop. But they're living in the moment for whatever's at that moment. They invite us back to the now. I tell people all the time, when you walk your dog, be with your dog. Most of us don't know how to do that. When you walk with your significant other, your family, or whatever, be in the moment with them. With the holiday seasons coming up, we're going to sit down and break bread with our family. Be in the moment with them. Don't worry about the mistakes of yesterday. Guys, I made my mistakes yesterday. I'm paying for it today with one of my kids, and that's okay. But when I sit down and break bread with them, I'm going to be in the moment with them. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not going to worry about the past because I can't fix it. I'm going to be in the moment because that's all the thing I have control over. And I'm going to break bread and I'm going to enjoy being there with my wife and my daughters and my son-in-laws. And with my grandchildren and with my granddogs and my dog. I'm going to be in the moment with them and not worry about when I made the mistake yesterday. I'm not going to worry about, well, how are they going to look at me tomorrow? Because I can't control it. So if you're listening and you feel stuck replaying your yesterday with your dog, with your family, or worrying about the tomorrow, I want to encourage you to take a page out of your dog's book. Slow down, breathe, be here. Because this moment, this breath, this step, this connection is where transformation truly begins. And I'm going to repeat that, guys. Slow down, breathe, be here. Because this moment, this breath, this step, this connection is where transformation truly begins. And how do we get there? Get rid of the anger. Get rid of the frustration. My trademark, guys. No anger, no frustration. No nonsense. I'm in the moment. Period. End of discussion. And start that from a calm, confident place. Stay consistent in living in the moment. That's where you start gaining control, not only of your dog's life, but of your life. I'm not trying to control your dog. I'm not trying to control my dog. I'm trying to control, when I say calm, confidence, consistency equals control, it's control of my own life. And that's the snowball effect. So, and above all, live right here, right now. If you are ready to create a more calm environment in your home, with your office, with your dog, with even yourself, your family, please feel free to reach out to me, 803-415-6970. Let's set up a 15-minute phone consultation. It's free. And talk to me. Let me see if I can help guide you in this transformation. It's a passion in my life, guys. I say this at the end. Anybody who's followed me on social media knows most of my videos I end the same way. That together we can help one dog and one family at a time. And I truly believe that. So until next week, guys, be present. Be in the moment. Don't worry so much about your past. Don't worry about the future. Because you can't control the future unless you can control the moment. We can't fix the past. We can learn from the past. Let's not make the same mistakes twice. But let's truly learn to live in the moment with our dogs, with ourselves, with our family, with our friends. And you tell me that when that transformation hits. So until next week, guys, enjoy your week. We'll talk to you next week. Live in the moment. And remember, no anger, no frustration, no nonsense. And together, we can help one dog and one family at a time.